My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. This is gang stalking. And these are the chubby demons of Zumba. P.O.C, this is sexual assault and battery, and this is where Jay Montez was stalking with the Ontario police yesterday. 8 Nancy Uncle David 678. All right, impossible light, just like during the day, is moving above. That's a demon. This is P.O.C, and they're homosexual chubby demons that are out in the middle of the night wanting to touch me and actually stalking a woman. This is mental illness that they share, and while she's walking, moving, driving, impossible light is being created. Here's my shadow back here. Here's my shadow right here. These are demons, and they're monitoring. They're a bunch of stalkers. The demon-possessed females are homosexuals. That's what you need to know. Homosexuality is of a spirit. Okay, it's not about your feelings and how you feel about that and your rights. It's about the reality of where that impulse comes from, and it's demonic. And this is why you have demonic, which are also homosexual patterns by those that are gang stalking. They're demon-possessed females who conduct themselves like they're gay. Wanting to touch on me, engaging in what is stalking in the middle of the night, and they're doing so on behalf of the Ontario Police, Jay Montez, who is also going to prison. And this is why he's going to prison, because the people of the state are gang stalking on behalf of that agency. 8 Nancy, Uncle David 678, on behalf of the chubbies that are gang stalking with Zumba, P.O.C. Okay, and the other one with the pattern of conduct, they're turning the headlights back on, that's light activity. The train activity is audible activity. And they're here stalking me at B Street, at what is the 216 address where I was yesterday. This is the pattern of conduct, and this is my corner. All right, that has nothing to do with the light activity. What is the ongoing daytime version of this? Washington is gang stalking along Holt Boulevard. They're maintaining traffic surrounding the fake sun over me. Like I documented this yesterday, is the daytime iteration of stalking with light. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. And this is why I have what are homosexual women stalking me everywhere. These are the same demons that are stalking in bathrooms, and they consume my bodily fluids. They dig into trash cans, wanting to drink my fluids and wanting to consume them, hoping that it'll make them thin, hoping that it'll make them sane, hoping that it'll make them attractive, and it doesn't. That's why they're stalking another woman in the middle of the night. And they also are stalking someone that they know is whose identity they know, and they are doing so pursuant to a demonic pattern of conduct. Everybody's getting in this demon's vehicle because I'm documenting them, by the way. That's what this is about. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the pattern of conduct. The people of the state are not gang stalking as individuals, they're gang stalking as an entity, and that's documenting the gang members that are being simultaneously documented at the same time while they are accessible. The entity is maintaining ongoing amplified noise while these sex offenders who are homosexual predators are maintaining light activity, and they're doing so at the early hour of the 5 a.m. hour, because this is where I'm at, and this is what stalking someone that is documenting. And I'm up at all hours to show you that the demon possessed do not stalk. They do not stalk with regard to any sort of mindfulness regarding a curfew, regarding what their lives are. I am their lives. They're stalking as a population. The entities engage in that pattern of conduct while you are mindful of the environment where you're around, and it's not their headlights. It is the engineered light. And it's not the sun when they are stalking, being homosexuals, and they are engaging what is crossing path. They're engaging in sexual assault and battery. They're touching. And these are the chubbies of Zumba. Okay, I'll prosecute Zumba as well. All right, this is why you have a whole bunch of homosexual, overweight minions who are closeted homosexuals gang stalking me at 5 in the morning. They don't even care about their oversized waistlines. They're here engaged in sexual assault and battery. And this is where Jay Montez met his fate, because he's going to federal prison. He's gang stalking just like license 8 UND 678 are. And Jay Montez was doing so with the Ontario Police stalking by helicopter. And Jay Montez was doing so while the fake sun was remaining over me throughout the neighborhood, while a population of homosexual females and their gang stalking male counterparts who also don't like them and who are stalking are obsessed with me as well. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:39 a.m. This is at the 126 B Street. This is exactly where I was at. This is exactly where the fake sun was at. And this is this is the engineer environment. My shadows are taller than one another. These are homosexuals. P.O.C. They're demons. All right, just to give you another example. First of all, you're looking at the environment where you're absolutely able to not only prosecute, you're able to recognize mental illness, you're able to recognize the system by the state. You're also recognizing the patterns in that environment. That's the fake moon there. And this is, again, nothing stopping traffic, okay? They're not even here about a Zumba class. It's about being around me where homosexual women are thereby exposed. Their homosexuality is also directly related to their demon possession. And license 9, Bob, Uncle Wendy 875 is stalking me at 5:45 in the morning
and doing so while sitting in the street, aiming light, reflecting off of that building with regard to the P.O.C, stalking with light, and also wanting to commit sexual assault and battery. This is what this homosexual wants to do, is to touch. As I walk on the sidewalk and they're tracking my steps, and this is occurring during the day under the fake sun where homosexuality is also exposed. Homosexual women that are vagina monitors, obsessed with me and my bodily fluids, obsessed with every syllable that I utter, obsessed with the way in which I move, I speak, and I am, while they are gang stalking. And they do that with their male counterparts, psychopaths sitting in the dark, standing while they're stalking. They're stalking. And they're doing so under the fake moon. This is the same shoot where the fake sun is. And you already know what the Ontario International Airport is. You already know what the Ontario Police Department is. It's a population of demons. And you're going to prosecute because under the law, it's terrorism. While a mentally ill population that is demon possessed. And I just want to give you some illustration here. This is demonic activity while you're looking at the cross that's floating in the sky. I just want to be clear, Satan is always in reference to what is religion for Satan. It's not a genuine faith. Satan cloaks himself behind the name of behind the name of Christ and behind that cross, where at this venue, demonic and satanic conduct is underway. This is ritualistic. This is a person that's stalking, and that's Satan that is not looking at you, not addressing you. That's supposed to be the passive aggressive signature. It's the identification of mental illness, which is a threat to American citizens. This is the entity that's conspiring your murder while they're looking to the left and the right, gang stalking you. And they're hostile because of the truth with which, the unadulterated, unfiltered, descriptive terms that I use to show you Satan. Satan that is homosexual, Satan that is obsessive, Satan that is a criminal, Satan that is the gang stalker. This is why they're staring out into the dark. What are they doing at 5:46 in the morning in the dark? They're stalking. And they know that they're being documented. This is a demon, and so is this. And this is the entity that's just sitting in the middle of the street, engaging in what is psychotic behavior. This is a homosexual. You see that? That's P.O.C. And this is the Ontario Police Department. That's the pattern of conduct. Sitting in the middle of the street, stalking you, and engaging in what is harassment. That's the pattern of conduct.
You shut the fuck up, okay? You better stop.
Or what?
You better stop it.
Or what? Is that a threat?
No, you better stop.
Is that a threat?
You know what?
Is that a threat?
You're so immature.
Who are you? Satan, do you know who I am? You talking like you're very familiar. Are you done putting your mask on? This is a drug addict. This is a drug addict. This is a Satan. This is Satan. This is a spirit. Understand? While Satan has a cross on his back. Don't be distracted. This is a drug addict and it's demon possession. Okay? And they're monitoring together. That ongoing aggression, that ongoing animosity while they're blocking the street. This is a spirit. This is what you need to understand. That's the pattern of conduct. And she's speaking as though she's met me before. You speaking as though.
Shut the fuck up,
don't
bitch.
touch me. You're gonna want to not touch me.
Or what? Shut up.
Or what?
Shut the
or
fuck
what?
Up. Shut up, bitch.
This is You're going to prison. You know that, right? She's holding a weapon.
Yes.
She's holding a weapon. I'm on the sidewalk and she's stalking. Oh, and that's assault. That's assault and battery. What else? You're going to prison. Mike Lorenz is going to prison. Mike Lorenz is going to federal prison.
Get your shit, get out of here.
This is a midget with a sharp object in her hand with a cross on her back, gang stalking with the people, hostile because they're being documented under the fake moon, gang stalking with demons like Jay Montez, engaging in what is psychotic criminal activity, serving the system, mentally ill behavior, engaging in what is that ongoing hostility while their mental illness and their criminal activity is being documented. You see this? Nothing's catching his attention. He's just standing. These are demons. And this is what you need to know murders people. This is why Mike Lorenz is going to federal prison. I have the evidence showing he is a terrorist leader. And this is the ongoing criminal servitude to that agency that's stalking as well. Pattern of conduct, P.O.C. These are homosexuals that are monitoring my vagina, gang stalking as a population, doing so to that violent speech while they're holding out a weapon. And this little midget, this demon-possessed midget that's calling out names and that's supposed to get you in your emotions. This is a demon. She's obsessed with this black woman's vagina. She's stalking this black woman in the middle of the night. She's doing so as a population. She's focused on me, but yet calling you names and whatnot. That's Satan. You need to understand that. And everybody in this parking lot is gang stalking. That's assault with a deadly weapon. She's going to prison. I just want to be clear. She's going to prison. This is demon possession, what you need to know, though. But the demon possession of the Ontario police is resulting in federal prison. You need to understand that. This is exactly why Jay Montez is going to prison. You need to understand that. He's going to federal prison. You are not just under the fake sun while the entity is stalking you by helicopter, and it's only going to be prison when you kidnap. Oh, no. This is why. It's a population. It's an unlawful threat, and they're sharing in the same mental illness. Jay Montez has the same mental illness, demon possession, the same mental illness. This ongoing threat, holding a nail file, while you're threatening me and calling me racial epithets, engage in that pattern of conduct, engage in running over my property. This is a drug addict, and she's doing so in the name of the Ontario Police Department. That's again assault with a deadly weapon. That's P.O.C. That's a pattern of conduct. She's going to prison. And all the people in the state that I'm documenting are going to prison with her. This is group conduct. This is P.O.C. She's going to prison. She's going to prison. And she's doing this on behalf of the Ontario Police. You understand, you're going to document, and she's going to federal prison. Everybody that's gang stalking with her. You have Rosa that's over here in this van, driving Benjamin's van. She's going to prison with her. They're going to federal prison. They're in their vehicles, gang stalking. I'm going to get their license because they're all going to prison. And so is the Ontario Police. They're being disbanded for gang members, for homosexuals who are hostile, holding up weapons, engaging in what is assault and battery. And I'm supposed to stop documenting. I will not. This is why they are going to prison. This is why. That's a spirit that's obsessed with you, stalking you, and then is mad when you discern their demon possession. That's the pattern of conduct. Everybody in this parking lot is going to prison. Everybody in this parking lot can thank you for going to prison, crackhead. Everybody. P.O.C. That's the entity that's engaged in that while they're hostile because you are telling what they're doing while they're conspiring your murder. This is a drug addict up in the middle of the night. You need this. Everybody that's stalking at the grocery store, it's not different. Everybody outside of Stater Brothers, everybody that's stalking in the commercial airline planes, everybody that works for the Ontario Police Department, everybody that lives at Alvarado Gardens, everybody that works for speaker companies, the demon possessed, whether they're on drugs, whether they're engaged, whether they look like a dog in the face, whether they're stalking me in the dark, whether they're in the hood or in the suburbs. It's the same condition. P.O.C. Everybody in this parking lot is about to be documented because they're sharing in this. This is federal prison. All right, Rosa and her minor children are gang stalking. They're right in here. They're monitoring. I'm documenting them. They're stalking the pack. They're monitoring. This is the demon that doesn't have any license plate at the open family community library all the time. They're monitoring. And this is what they do when there's no evidence. They engage in what is hurting people, murdering them, and then the police, the Ontario police, for example, are not investigating it. They're going to prison. That's a molestation. You see my shadow? By a stalker. She is stalking. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. This is a psycho. I don't think so. What is wrong with you, Satan? Let go. Now you're coming after my property? This is a psycho. This is a spirit. Look at Shaw. I just want you to see because she's going to prison. You're going to prison. You're going to prison. This is unfortunate. This is why the Ontario police go to prison because they don't have any self-control. She's going from stalking me in the middle of the street to being documented to now coming out and attacking because I am the focus in the first place. She wants me to leave her alone. I'm documenting everybody else, and you're over here touching my property. Rosa is right over here. She's gang stalking. All these demons are going to be prosecuted with her. She pulled a knife. She engaged in assault with the deadly weapon, the vehicle. She engaged in what is touching my property, trespass the property. She's engaged in what is verbalizing threats. She's speaking as a state and acting as a state. And this is, again, the third party that's engaged in this conduct because the Ontario police have conspired my murder with the people of the state. 9 Bob Uncle Wendy 875. She's going to prison, and I'm going to document gang violence is shared. And they're engaging that together. 9 Thomas Uncle Jerry 331. They're monitoring communication devices. And that's the elements of monitoring. They're going to prison, period. There's no discussion. It's strict liability. They're going to prison. Rosa is in this van, gang stalking, license EYB 9324. Rosa is the Latina female and all her gang stalking children. They're monitoring the violence. Rosa is routinely engaging in that, monitoring my vagina at the Open Family Community Library with her kids. And they're catching federal charges together as well. Engaging what is assault together. This is the demon that's gang stalking me with no license plate. That's prison. I already said that. These are serial stalkers that are engaged in this pattern of conduct and they're sharing in that violence. This is typically what they engage in and they think that it's funny. They share in it and they engage in this is the system of gang stalking. While a psychopath is stalking in the dark, looking out into the dark space like nothing is happening. I don't see anyone. I don't hear it. Listening to all that stalking. That's mental illness. It's not innocence. And you're looking at a violent iteration of that same delusional behavior. Same delusional behavior. That's the pattern of conduct. They're standing in engineer light. Anything, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're monitoring and stalking in the engineered environment under the fake moon and the fake sun. And this is a third party sharing in what is assault with a deadly weapon, assault and battery, engaging what is vocalizing threats, and they're demons that are monitoring together. Let me show you. This is the demon manifesting light. They're demon possessed. It's not their inability to see. They're monitoring. okay? And they are sharing in that violence. And I'm exposing to you what is the reality. The Zumba homosexuals are acting together. You need to understand you're dealing with a spirit, and as you're going to prosecute the government that's demon possessed, you're going to prosecute for criminal conspiracy, because they are one entity acting together. That's how you're going to prosecute the demon possessed, who are speaking as one, stalking as one. But the reality is those homosexual chunky little chubbies at Zumba are hostile, and so you have another demon that's engaging in violence on behalf of them. Okay, this drug addict that's stopping in the middle of the street, stalking at 5 in the morning, doing so with another hostile demon. Hostility is deduced from the environment, from the speech, also to the passive and psychologically torturous behavior of stalking someone, threatening them while acting as though you're doing something else. That's a threat. It's not innocence. They're mentally ill. You're going to prosecute for this so-called stoicism upon the federal group stalking and monitoring pattern of conduct. It's not the absence of a threat. It's the exact opposite, because they're so mentally ill. This is people. And this is a drug addict that just engaged in violence, again, on behalf of the gang members of the Ontario Police. Ontario Police merely represents the U.S. government that is acting vicariously through a population who are demon-possessed. This is the Nephilim that engages in violence against the American citizens who do not have the evidence, who are sitting around, they're already 6 feet under, they're kidnapped, while the entity that's sick, this is sickness as well, because they're in their vehicles gang stalking, they're in their homes monitoring, and this is a shared event. Everybody at the grocery store at Stater Brothers, where I'm headed, is monitoring and are aware of it. Kia, that's at the register, she's gang stalking. Isaiah at the register, Frank at the register, Don Quinones, the manager, this is the same entity. They speak as one. They share the same demon possession, and under the law, it's the same criminal conspiracy. This is an illusion regarding strangers, and you're not encountering them unless they're in your face, and you're talking to them. This is demon possession, and it is also the state that is monitoring. This is exposing their spiritual practices, witchcraft, demon possession, their condition, which is also relevant to their mental illness, which is directly indicative of the criminal conduct, which is gang stalking, criminal monitoring, stalking as an entity. This is P.O.C. I'm going to get these license plates. 8WYH469. This is why they're going to prison. Tracy Banks is going to prison. The chubby one, Shanita Ramaya McLean, who's engaging what is homosexual conduct by having sex with people that I formerly know, that I'm not even interested in. That's the conduct of a gay woman that wants to be with you. Having sex with Tracy Banks' husband, they're going to federal prison. I'm just referencing the people of the state whose name I know. You don't have to know their name. You know them by the environment, and you know that they know you by that environment. Everybody in this parking lot, and that's just what I'm getting right now, because it's more than this parking lot. The entire entity is engaged in that pattern of conduct, and that's an unlawful threat, while a crackhead is stalking you in the middle of the night and is speaking on behalf of the state. And the lawlessness with which she engages in it, as though there's no consequence. And how many times have I documented that? The entity attacking me and then summoning the gang members of the Ontario Police who were already there stalking me in helicopter while they commit that act of violence, which I documented. That gang is being disbanded, and they're going to federal prison. And domestic terrorist leaders who are going to be responsible for terrorism in the U.S., such as Mike LORENZ and Derek Williams, are going to federal prison. Just like Osama bin Laden, the terrorist leader, they're going to federal prison. The people of the state are gang stalking in concert with that agency that is not engaged in law enforcement, and they shall be prosecuted for what they're responsible for, the criminal activity that they share with the people of the state. And this demon is still, understand the state is still stalking by her. It's an admission that she is an agent. She's a third party. She's still engaged in the pattern of conduct in the engineering environment while the entity is sounding train. You can't even hear the train. That's the entity that's monitoring. In fact, in everything that was stated, everything that this third party committed, the entity committed, and the state commits. Mike LORENZ is going to prison. The latest demon was Jay Montez yesterday. He's going to federal prison. This is why. It's not just what I capture in that video, even though those gang members engage in plenty of criminal and federal offenses in the videos that I capture. But this is the bigger picture. This is why gang stalking police officers, the un-American oxymoron, is necessarily, it is mandated to be dealt with federal prison. They're terrorists, and they're facilitating terrorism. It's currently 5:59 a.m. This is P.O.C. All of the harms, all of the damages suffered while this gang has been engaged in terrorism, they thought, while they're vagina monitoring, closeted psychopaths who are demon possessed, hostile because their demons are being discerned and exposed, are engaging what is trying to defame my character when they are bat poo psychotic. They're crazy. And this is what is out defaming American citizens when they are highly unstable. Okay, sitting out in the dark, this video is 15 minutes long, and this demon is steady looking out into the black sky, stalking another person. And this is what you're gaining from that pattern of conduct. And the federal courts are going to give me justice in the way in which I require it. This entity shall not be getting any negotiation. And the entity that is aware of the fact that it's already proven, and yet they're out here still gang stalking, I suffer any punctures to my body because a drug addict that's demon-possessed gang stalking me is stabbing me while I'm documenting because the federal government has not engaged in what is stopping this pattern of conduct because they don't want to go to prison. Demons like Paul Leon, the city of Ontario, the state of California, Governor Newsom that knows what I'm documenting. Nobody stepped in and intervened. They're going to prison. I am the one that's dictating what justice is going to look like, and it's not them. And they're still gang stalking, and this is why. This is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 6 a.m. P.O.C. Molestation, license plate 48889 Wendy 3, stalking. And they're stalking with the same entity that's following as a population, doing so while they are monitoring together with the demon that's pulling a weapon, engaging, trying to hit me with their car, communicating a verbal threat as audible activity. Remember, you're monitoring, so what you're saying, the state is saying, while you're stalking, you don't even have a right under the law to be in my presence, including where you're in my presence where you live. That's the government that has no warrant to be maintaining surveillance where the people of the state live. This is the entity that's stalking as a population while I'm documenting that license plate that's gang stalking. Currently, 6:04 a.m.
All right, I want to document, these are white males going into Standard Barber under the fake sun where there would never be any sunlight. Their clients are meeting them in order to engage in sexual assault and battery, 7:32 a.m. This is the entity gang stalking as the government. They're doing so while I'm documenting what they committed as an entity. Standard Barber committed assault and battery, assault with a deadly weapon, committed what was assault with a deadly weapon, both being the vehicle and the sharp object that the crackhead was holding while she's gang stalking with the state. They're engaged in the same pattern of conduct. They're doing so where the government is stalking by planes, and they're doing so while they're going into their establishment under the guise of maintaining a business. This is the federal RICO case against this little ghetto establishment, which I'm going to prosecute. Those are sex offenders engaging in that P.O.C. The Ontario International Airport provides evidence against them. That's why the government is stalking. There's no terminals. Terminal 2, Terminal 4 will have no planes coming over here, over the sky space, and of course they're doing it where the fake sun is at. They're doing it while they are monitoring what's on my device. Psychopaths who are demon-possessed, who are gang stalking you, who never had any strategy designed for when they're going to be prosecuted. What are they going to do then? And what they've been doing is the pattern of conduct. From by impossible light while you walk into an establishment under a fake sun that's still here in the afternoon. And they're doing so while they are hostile demons, stalkers, co-conspirators of murder, monitoring on my device in concert with the government that provides direct evidence to put them in prison. License plate 9JDW476, 9TUH922, 7XKD745, 6WIN188. Recall when I'm at this same Ontario Village, that was yesterday. That's on the opposite side of this building where this fake sun was hovering over the opposite side of this building where Standard Barber is in no position to have sunlight reflecting off of the door underneath a covered structure just to touch on my body, to harass me as a psychopath that's demon possessed. White people, by the way, who are both racist and obsessed with a black woman and a black woman's vagina. That ongoing conflict is because they're demon possessed. But the entities engaging in that, they're not under the fake sun, they're stalking. And they're stalking someone specifically. That's why the fake sun remained over Coin Laundry yesterday while I'm walking out, and I'm reminding you about what Upland Police Department are doing at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is that same Ontario shopping plaza where the government assault with a deadly weapon, engaging in what is verbalizing threats, racial epithets, which is audible activity, while they are monitoring you in the environment. Monitoring includes what is occurring Data Brothers with regard to vagina monitoring, surveillance by a bunch of psychopaths who are creating inventory, stalking inventory up at the register while they're gang stalking on behalf of the state. This is the pattern of conduct as I'm documenting this is the environment where the P.O.C. remains in the way, and this is the prosecution, the implosion of domestic terrorism and the secrecy of domestic terrorism, where the Governor Newsom in the state of California, the U.S. government did not intervene, and that is why I am not only exposing it, I am leading the prosecution. And when I said you're going to prison and my evidence supports that policy, you are going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is the city of Ontario gang stalking. You already know that. Paul Leon is going to be federally prosecuted. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:35 a.m. Audible activity, this is light activity, and this is relevant positioning. It's relevant positioning in the sky space and on the ground. That's a stalker. License plate, and they're conspiring murder while they're stalking with the state. 7 Victor 88940, acting with this demon over here, acting with Omnitrans. The people on the state on the roads and the highways, they're all stalking together. This is psychopathic pacing. They're doing so under the context. This is the fake sun. That's why this is a setting recognizing a crime scene where Southwest Airlines is engaging in what is facilitation, aiding sex like Standard Barber, like Stater Brothers, like Starbucks, like those on the roads and the highways. Omnitrans is a business on the roads and the highways making money while engaging in state surveillance. The Ontario International Airport is a facilitating venue engaging in criminal surveillance and utilizing those commercial planes to stalk one person, that one person that the entity has conspired to murder. This is where the entity is stalking under the fake sun at 7:46 a.m. And as I left yesterday after 9 a.m., I'm taking pictures of this fake sun that's still over me as I walk through this parking lot. And the fake sun is not remaining over while I am facing what is east of the Ontario Village Shopping Center, while I'm at the what is behind me. The fake sun is hovering over the edge of the on the coin laundry, and that's where it stayed. That's why I captured it at 9:06 a.m. The entity is indeed stalking. So is Southwest Airlines, and so are the demons that are on the roads and the highways, that are in the grocery store, that go and are pacing all around the bathroom, maintaining surveillance, and then engage in acts of violence and speaking in a violent manner while their mental illness and their criminal activity, their demon possession, is exposed. And it is exposing the U.S. government, the state of California, that is engaging in the ongoing continuation of an impermissible threat. And they are going to be placed in federal prison. I want to be clear. The governor is not above being federally prosecuted. The governor is not above being federally prosecuted for facilitation of the threat that the state poses. No official, no person is above the law. In the same way that Mike Lorenz is a terrorist leader, and this is why he's being prosecuted, and this is evidence to prosecute him. This is the exact criminal conduct of the Ontario Police. Audible activity, just replace it with Southwest Airlines, and it's the same conduct. P.O.C. The entity is maintaining aerial surveillance. The city of Ontario is maintaining ongoing aerial surveillance. I'll give you an example. This is the entity that is stalking in the sky space, the cloud. Oh, there it is, up here. This right here, that's the entity stalking in the sky space. Union Pacific is the guise of audible activity, and this is where the entity is stalking. I just want to be clear. These are demons. And Gavin Newsom, Mike Lorenz, whoever it is that you think, the demon that I've been documenting for years, Tracy Banks, they are identical with regard to mental illness, because the condition, as I've exposed it to you and I've documented the evidence of it, it is demon possession. Demon possession that is merely acclimating itself to the personality of that vessel, of the host. But they share the same demonic behavior pattern. They're filled with demons. And demons are engaging in stalking with light, stalking with audible noise, and stalking in the path while they are monitoring. They're monitoring spirits. And they're mentally ill as they do so. And everything that they state while they're engaged in the criminal conspiracy with the government maintaining this demonic system is state action. And this is what the entity is doing inside of the grocery store at the coin laundry yesterday, and doing so while I'm documenting. I want to be clear, who I document while the government targets me is who is going to be facing the consequences for it. In the same way, you're going to be prosecuted, period, because you're engaged in the P.O.C. As I'm subject to more terrorism, like stalking in the path conspicuously, you're going to be prosecuted for that. License 5VZZ431. I'm being targeted for what I documented Chino police committing against me in 2022 as an entity. And I'm being I'm documenting ongoing terrorism that I'm subject to because I'm exposing what the Fontana Police Department, the Pomona Police Department, what the Upland Police Department committed against me in 2022. And this is an entity that's doing so while it committed assault with a deadly weapon, threatening my life and safety, trying to run me over with the vehicle, doing so as an entity while I then publish it on the internet. This is the entity that is going to federal prison for that. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaging in what is, again, Alan D. Wapner. You are aware of his secrets while the airport is a guise of stalking. He's not only a criminal, he's not only engaged in what is providing a means of public corruption throughout the city, and that will be the state, and that will be crossing state lines as well. The Ontario International Airport is going to be shut down. It's a national security threat. They're engaging in that pattern of conduct while they're also making money. I will be draining that company, that airport, the state of California. And there's no amount of money that's going to serve for what is evading justice. And I want to be clear, judges like Thomas Garza, I'm prosecuting him in 2026 for evading the criminal act of evading service of process, which is what the state of California did. And now they're engaging in what is watching me, ongoing suffering that I'm documenting through the P.O.C. Thomas Garza is going to federal prison. And I said that years ago, and that remains the case. Lisa Rogan is going to federal prison while the entity is gang stalking me at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. And this is why they are going to federal prison. Because American citizens would have already been dead, and that was Lisa Rogan and Thomas Garza's plan. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It's 7:50 a.m. Gang stalking with a minor child, 16781U3, and they act with impunity. That impunity is going to be met with federal prison. You're going to sit in a cell, and you're going to sit there for years. P.O.C. This is 628E as in Edward. The smoke shop, that's a third-party facilitating venue. The people of the state, this is a federal RICO case. They're all engaged in the same pattern of conduct. The fake sun is remaining over me. And the people of the state are pacing in and out of another ghetto establishment that's also gang stalking, where the airport's maintaining serial flight, gang stalking with the people who are demons, walking in impossible light, touching with impossible light as sex offenders. This is a gang stalker monitoring with the people of the state that are pacing 9CGZ233. They're not walking in sunlight. They're not even walking under the sun. And that's not the sound of the Union Pacific train. They're monitoring, and their demons engage in that. And this entity of demons committed assault with a deadly weapon, both a knife and the vehicle. They engaged in what is terrorist threats. They're doing so on behalf of the city of Ontario that's engaging in kidnapping and referring to things such as the municipal code while they're engaging in criminal stalking and furtherance of murder. They're doing so pursuant to a demonic pattern of conduct as well, which is adding a layer regarding domestic terrorism where the entity is demon possessed while it is stalking you. This is the sex offender engaging in what is assault, sexual assault and battery, walking the opposite direction of her vehicle, where she's engaged in what is that unlawful touching, which is behind me. And this is the entity that removes that vehicle. This is I already took a picture of it. These are demons that are engaging in chicanery together. That's why they're going to prison. And this is also why you document. She gets out of the blue vehicle. It's already captured in the images. These demons are monitoring. This is a coward that's monitoring while she gets out. The entity's doing the same thing. You don't need the license plate. And also, the shop owner is gang stalking with every single last one of them. And she's been engaged in criminal monitoring and furtherance of murder for years and is likely a candidate of deportation. License 7, Edward, Indiana, Uncle 727. Doing so under the fake sun. Here it is at 10:11 a.m. And this is supposed to be over the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, where you're facilitating venues under the law as engaging in criminal surveillance. That is literally stalking by the establishment and making money while the people of the state who are stalking are engaging in what is presence in the path. That's exposing public. Where the airport is indeed stalking. That's the Ontario National Airport that's going to be shut down. P.O.C. Opening and closing their doors is a means of what is touching by hostile demons who are witnessing their exposure, while a crackhead is within the pattern of conduct, and it's not different from the store manager, from the direct of the Stater Brothers. It's not different from the chief of vagina monitors of the Ontario Police, Mike LORENZ. It's not different from the library director of the OVITT Family Community Library, where they're engaging in surveillance and doing so under a fake sun. These are demons that are engaged in the same exact pattern of conduct, creating an illusion regarding privacy and what is anonymity. And it's all speaking to what is a unified mindset, which is mentally ill. And this is a population in need of martial law. That's why you're molesting me with impossible light, while you're obsessed with my vagina and engaging in what is violence while I am exposing the truth about you. And it's going to be a federal RICO case, and it's going to be the prosecution of the U.S. government, which occurred on the internet via the use of social media, where this entity sought to obstruct justice. And for that, they are also going to federal prison. Officials that engaged in this criminal pattern of conduct, and I mean while I documented you in the city and the county, as I documented you as a state official in the state of California, and you watched and continuously permitted and facilitated, you will be losing your position. I want you to know that. This is the entity that's engaging in criminal activity. You are not above the law. You are witnessing your prosecution while an American citizen, fully prepared with that ability to do so, is engaging in prosecuting and exposing you, and you will be subject to the laws that you are in violation of. You're not over them because you typically accomplish murder and silencing your victims. You're being prepared to be removed. P.O.C. It is currently 10:13 a.m. Remember standard barber? Those demons that are gang stalking and lights swiping underneath the same structure, 7:30 a.m. Okay, well, it's 10. It is actually 10:13 a.m. and they were stalking then, and they're stalking now. And this is the same parking lot, okay? And I have not even left. Yesterday, I am already arriving at the OVITT Family Community Library, where all the demons are pacing inside of a building, like they're pacing in a parking lot under the fake sun. P.O.C. All right, the video you just listened to capturing the people of the state that are engaging in gang stalking via the facilitating venue 628E as in Edward, the smoke shop, where the smoke shop employee, manager, whatever she is, she's a third party, license 7, Edward, Indiana, Uncle 727, who is gang stalking while maintaining a corrupt business, a fraudulent business, while engaging in surveillance, actually in furtherance of murder and profiting from it by using a smoke shop, where I'm being sexually assaulted and molested with impossible light, while the demons, who are the people of the state, go in and out of that venue. The license plate that vanished in the course of my video, which I captured in images moments before I started recording, this third party that's engaging in this is the nonsense, the chicanery, the sophomoric behavior of the serial killers and the pedophiles, the psychopaths that are gang stalking, disappearing and fleeing when they're being documented like the cowards that they are. They do that in helicopter as well. Pay attention to the pattern. They're going to be put in cages where predators belong. Cowards who are predators. This is why they're engaging in what is gang violence. And they're engaging in that with regard to what is severe mental instability. And their instability is underscored while they're surrounded with the evidence and they're still gang stalking. They're still gang stalking. So I just want to be clear, but I will go ahead and remind you because you will see it captured at what is 10:08 a.m. 10:08 a.m. and 52 seconds, and I begin recording at 10:09 a.m. and 49 seconds. And that vehicle, that demon did not get back into it, and she walks across crossing path gang stalking, still doing so with knowledge. This is why the vehicle disappears, and she doesn't get back in it like every other third party that's engaging in the same pattern. These are demons that are cowards, and I don't need that license plate. I just want to be clear. My evidence is so complete that I can provide you the before and after ongoing context. The demon is gang stalking and getting out of vehicle, or at least the entity is engaging what is the sound of a door closure. A vehicle is behind me and I'm being accosted. I'm being terrorized and I'm being unlawfully touched with engineer light by a demon that's monitoring me, by everyone else as well. That's why the store owner is being prosecuted while a demon walks out and flees with regard to one license plate, and you are still subject to deportation if you're an immigrant gang stalking an American citizen. But I want to be clear, that license plate is 9 Wendy Victor Mary 417. It's the blue vehicle parked right behind me. And this is the form where a bunch of sex offenders recommit the sex act of what is the group conduct, this orgy violence that the demon possessed engaged in. One demon after another repeating that sex act of unlawfully touching. And that's exactly how they're going to be prosecuted. Violent sex offenders who attack you sexually in a manner as a group over and over and over again. And this is all state action. That's exactly what's going on in their criminal records. It's currently 10:17 a.m. I just wanted to give context. It's all uploaded to the Google Drive. That's the vehicle that disappears, and that demon did not get back in it. P.O.C. You just watch them fly through the sun. This is gang stalking. This is the same entity that committed while the fake moon was over me. And the fake moon was here over me while I was standing at the same DD's discount this morning. And this is where the fake sun is over me. This is where the airport, like I stated in the previous video, walking this direction, walking out of the store, walking around the car, driving by, they're pacing all around. This is light activity. When they're moving around, this is light activity. They're engaging in what is monitoring in the sky space as well. Monitoring is pursuant to stalking. This is why you have the impossible light that's appearing with regard to the illusion of the fake sun. That's supposed to be the natural environment. It's not the natural environment. It's not the sun. And this is not even sunlight. That's the significance of walking, driving, noise making. These are demon-possessed people that are monitoring, and it's the U.S. government that's monitoring. And the U.S. government is monitoring me. The U.S. government is stalking me. The U.S. government is keeping my vagina under surveillance. And that's relevant to what is the Ontario International Airport gang stalking with those who may or may not even be immigrants. 7XJN294, who is engaging in what is targeting and furtherance of murder, and doing so while the government, as you're going to prosecute it, is providing evidence against her, and she is the entire entity. The demons inside of the Stater brothers are being prosecuted while the entity keeps the fake sun over me. 65181 P.O.C. That's the pattern of conduct, that's activity creation, and that's why it's here, because they're all serving criminal monitoring together with the government. That has no terminals where any planes are flying over and hovering over, and neither is the sun going to be present over one parking lot. We're going on 3 hours since I captured the video at 7:30 a.m. This is the pattern of conduct, and this is where the fake moon, the crescent moon, was over me as I walked to this parking lot this morning. That's the pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. It's 10:25 a.m. This is exactly what I was speaking to in the previous video, where they're opening and closing their doors, and while I'm sitting in front ahead of them, they're touching me somehow. I'm being accosted with light at the same time that they're opening and closing doors, rather, because that's not naturally happening. That's the coexistence of activity by demons who are monitoring, and they're monitoring on devices. Okay, P.O.C. This is mental illness. This isn't normalcy. These are the demon-possessed. Satan is operating over all of them at the same time. And it's also not random. This is actually in sync conduct. They're all acting in sync. They're all monitoring me together. This is P.O.C. This is psychopathic pacing. Pattern of conduct. 10:25 a.m. say that again? What is it? And this is the state talking. You're going to what? From behind the gate? Oh, there is somebody there. How is it that you're aware of what I'm doing while I'm on the sidewalk? Are you the police? This is the state. This is the police. I'm on the sidewalk. You're in your house and I'm on the sidewalk and you know what I'm doing. While she's under the fake sun, these are the demons. They're going to prison. This is 226 Vine Avenue. They're going to prison. And she's inside, don't even see her, capturing the fake sun, capturing the beautiful weather, making threats, terrorist threats to commit physical harm. And what is the anger about? Oh, because they know they're being documented engaging in gang stalking. And their moms and grandmas are getting deported. They're going to prison. P.O.C. They're monitoring together. They're monitoring together. The entity flies over by plane. This is Vesta and Vine. 9WPZ 684. That's the government that's gang stalking, engaging in that conduct while they're the ones that commit criminal summoning. Those are the ones Ontario police rely on. While you're inside, understand how there's so many assumptions about what I'm doing. And not only that, even if you were assuming, why is there hostility for me taking pictures of the sun over the apartment? Why are you automatically assuming, and what is it that you are policing on the sidewalk? Where am I inside of your house? These are demons that are gang stalking. And you know that because of the fake sun, because of the ongoing pattern of conduct regarding stalking with impossible light, and the airport that maintains no flights from the terminals here. That's prison for them as well. They're monitoring together. License plate, 9WPZ 684, and this is 226 Vine Avenue. That's a threat. You see how they're all outside of their venue? This is where the Ontario police were stalking by helicopter. They're going to prison. P.O.C. That's the entity engaging that P.O.C. And they're not different from the crackheads that are living in their cars, gang stalking with the same government. They're going to federal prison. I documented them gang stalking on more than one occasion, 4 years as well. And this is the ongoing signature while the government is threatening by stalking with commercial planes, coming and approaching me while I'm on the sidewalk. And you're admitting to being a gang stalker while you come out. That's an assault by the government, getting in my face and making verbalized threats while you're monitoring. They're going to prison. Everybody in this little shack right here. That's 226 Vine Avenue. And this is the front portion, 427B, C Street, 427A. Watch the fake sun turn around as I turn. They're stalkers that are engaging in what is a conspiracy to murder. And they think because Mike LORENZ is engaged in criminal activity with them, that they can commit violent threats, that they can engage in violence, steal and damage your property, and get away with criminal activity that you're not going to enforce your rights against. And by the way, they are watching me document terrorists before them. So they know that I'm documenting the entity engaging in violence, and they repeat that ongoing threat. That's the suicidal entity. They're all going to federal prison, and so is Mike LORENZ. This is vicarious violence that is committed while that agency is engaged in gang violence. That is shared 427B on C Street, 427 apartment A right here. This is the fake sun. They're speaking as an entity. This whole shack. They're all engaged in criminal monitoring. They're sharing in psychopathic pacing, molesting me with impossible light while sunlight isn't ricocheting off your car. They're speaking as one while they're communicating a threat. Coming out of your venue, and you're threatening hostile. Why? While I get the sun over your house. Why? Because they know what I'm documenting. And what I'm documenting, if you're innocent, why is it any of your business? What is it that you're policing, even under the law where they're exercising authority that they don't have, that you're policing and have authority over while I'm on the sidewalk outside of your facilitating venue? They're going to prison. They are going to federal prison. Understand, gang violence with regard to gang stalking is going to result in a lot of people going to federal prison. And this is the problem with the government. You have the officials that are going to be removed from position, from the governor all the way down. Because they've been watching me expose this case, and they've been engaged in ongoing facilitation, permitting the Ontario police to kidnap me over and over and over again, permitting them to engage in what is stealing my property. Jason Field not engaging in any investigation. This is ongoing accumulation of damages and ongoing harms that are incalculable, inhumane, while the government commits it through the gang stalking immigrants. They're abuelas and abuelos. They're little hijos and hijas. Those are that are not even English speaking, while they play their cultural music as a means of audible activity. This is the same venue where the Ontario police are engaging in that pattern of conduct, flying over my head while I'm walking right here. And that's the Ontario police making a threat and coming out like she's going to do something. Like she's going to do something. That's the entity that's engaging in that. Let me be clear. Punks jump up to get beat down. They're engaging in gang violence. That's why those cowards have that ongoing motivation. Oh, I'm gonna get it. You're gang stalking. If you were really a gangster, you wouldn't be engaging in what is stalking somebody, first of all, period. But second of all, you're stalking with a whole league of demons. That is the antithetical communication of what is somebody that's actually a gangster. And everything that they say and do, it's the government doing. They're going to prison.
in this shack. Everyone. I don't care if they're at work right now. They're being documented because they're all going to prison. Every single last one of them. And the Department of, you're talking about the entity that's subject to deportation? I want to be clear, the federal government is going to clean through. You're talking about immigrants that are engaging in this on behalf of the Ontario Police Department. They're going to prison. You don't need to learn English. You're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It's currently 11:02 a.m. where the sun is not over the OVITT Family Community Library, which is the case when I'm already at that venue. Also, they're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. What else are you getting? There was never any sun at 216 West B Street, contrary to what Jay Montez is stalking me under, with that entity using helicopter to do so. They're going to federal prison. Jay Montez is making the same unlawful threat while third-party welfare recipients are gang stalking in their facilitating venues. Jay Montez does so by being in a police vehicle, stalking me in concert with the entity utilizing a helicopter while the fake sun is over my head, targeting me with the people of the state who feel like they're super gangster on video. Fools that are going to be in federal court and are going to want to walk back all of the foolish audible activity that they engaged in. But they're mentally ill. And it's not mental illness where they don't understand. It's just that they don't know the law. They're fools. Their mental illness is psychopathic. They're delusional. And they're going to be, just like everyone else that eats their feces, they're going to be locked up in facilities. Jay Montez is engaging in what is an equally unlawful threat, bearing a weapon and authority that he does not have in the law to engage in conspicuous surveillance, and he is going to prison. P.O.C. This is P.O.C. The entity is flying over my head at 226 Vine Avenue. Life and safety with the people of the state who are audibly communicating a threat, and the threat is already communicated under the fake sun where you're engaging in surveillance with the state. Surveillance for the accomplishing my murder. The entity is stalking here like they are stalking at 226 Vine Avenue. They're all going to federal prison in 427B C Street in Ontario and 427A C Street and 226 North Vine Avenue. They're stalking with the government that flew over that venue as well. They're not taking off from the town square. They're also not taking off and doing anything. Crossing path in the sky space. This is channels of interstate commerce. Federal stalking underway by the airport that is indeed keeping me under surveillance and is speaking through the demons who are hostile vagina monitors, 9WLE 244, communicating a threat while you're stalking me where you live, which is the dumbest thing that you could do. But they're ignoramuses who eat feces and keep my vagina under surveillance. They're telling the feds where to come and commit that raid. Okay, because you're being deported. You're going to prison. Any minor children are being taken away based upon the threat that are the co-conspirators, the sex offenders themselves, the people of the state, and they're stalking with the airport that's providing the wealth of evidence to prosecute the people of the state, the civilian population, with whom Gavin Newsom, the state of California, on behalf of the U.S. government that's engaging in criminal surveillance throughout the U.S., in concert with immigrants who are granted a privilege to be in this country, keeping American citizens under surveillance and doing so in furtherance of murder, and abusing the criminal justice system, the court system, in order to do so, to get away with it. That's the P.O.C. And my documentation shows where I'm already at the Ontario Town Square, and I'm showing you that illusion of the fake sun that's still setting in alignment to me after 4 and 5 p.m., which is exactly what I captured yesterday afternoon. And the sun is remaining over me, not even ever being over this town square today, where I'm documenting the admitted terrorists who come out of their home making all series of concessions and admissions when you don't even know what it is that I'm capturing on my phone, when I'm standing on the sidewalk having nothing to do with you ostensibly on its surface, unless you are speaking to what is some sort of clairvoyance, in which case you still don't have authority, because what you are discerning is not relevant with regard to what I am doing under no violation of existing law when they are operating what is under, you don't even have an authority. Even if I were violating something while I'm on the sidewalk outside of your home, which I'm not. This is the city of Ontario that's gang stalking, 1533051. This is light activity. That's why a fake sun is over me. In the same way it is at 7, 8, and 9 a.m. when I then go, I'm already in that library and that fake sun is there. That's what's speaking. Talking about you're going to bust a move. I want to be clear, the ongoing ghettos, these wannabe fake thugs that are gang stalking, engaging in violence while you're a coward, by definition, a punk that needs a whole crew to target somebody else, target someone that's not even concerned about you, target someone whose vagina you're obsessed with and you're mad because that can't be kept a secret. The entity is going to federal prison. I mean Mike LORENZ, I mean every kidnapper, I mean Jason Isaac Fields, I mean those that are in positions that are watching me conduct this investigation on the internet and are taking my evidence off the internet. While you're protecting the entity, understand you're going to prison. It's not going to be a civil matter and a check written and you're avoiding what is confinement. You are going to prison. This is criminal conduct of epic proportions, and the ordinary objective is murder, death. You are going to prison for it. I hope you are paying attention, because that's exactly what is going to happen. You will go from being an executive for Google to federal prison. I am not playing. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:16 a.m. where I am now arriving at Euclid Avenue, where I am in evidence on the record already at that square during the 8 a.m. hour, and I'm showing you the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, where the sun is not still going to be shining in my face while I'm in the depths of that building as well, and they're all psychopaths walking on concentrated amber-colored engineer light. 5 hours from now. That's the pattern of conduct. That's why Jay Montes is going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is the pattern of conduct. Jay Montes represents everybody that I already documented of that agency. They're going to prison. Every infection that's stalking me by helicopter, they're going to report their names and they're going to federal prison. This is terrorism. Terrorists in the U.S. are going to federal prison. You're delusional to continuously engage in this, and you have manifested prison time, not just for stealing my mail, not just for stealing my money and my identity. You're going to federal prison for terrorism in the United States of America. This is P.O.C. All right, it's currently 11:23 a.m. This is just a recording to note the entity. This is, again, the city of Ontario. That is the state of California. That is also, again, the prosecution of the government. And the prosecution of the government includes the prosecution of the government who are acting in concert with the people of the state, who are proven to be the terrorists who are relied upon by the state, while they act in sync, while they act in an identical manner, sharing the behavioral pattern in the specific environment, which is the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct is established through the specific environment that is supernatural. And the entities engaging in that P.O.C., while demons are engaging in that pattern of conduct together. And as the video that you just heard, the entity that's stalking at 226 North Vine, and then stalking while I'm at what is C Street and Euclid, engaging in what is stalking as I'm going through the neighborhood. And then you're juxtaposing what's happening when I remain at the bus stop, when I remain at 507 North Euclid Avenue, when I remain at Starbucks, at 507 North Euclid Avenue, at 706 West Holt Boulevard, when I remain at Woodside Senior Apartments. As of late, the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct. And as I've been documenting, coming from the bus stop, going to the town square, and I show you the fake sun when I'm there at 7, 8 in the morning, and I'm pointing toward the OVITT Family Community Library, where the fake sun is 7, 8 hours later, like I captured yesterday, shining, while demons bring in their minor children who are sex offenders. They're gang stalkers, they're terrorists under the law. And the people of the state are engaging in that malicious pattern of conduct under the guise of, you can't prosecute a criminal as an adult because they're children, period. Because you've never heard of the P.O.C. and the malice of the demon possessed. When you're not dealing with human beings, you're dealing with malicious spirits. That is, again, malicious behavior, the mentally ill, that are engaging in terrorism with minor children, just like in other third world countries. The entities engaging in this, and the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking with a level of impunity that is notable. The ongoing frequency of the planes, as I capture video at C Street and Euclid, the entities engage in more and more. That's that psychopathic pacing, the demons that are triggered. These are people who are mentally ill, and as you expose a psychopath, that is, as you discern demon possessed people who want to keep that demon possession a secret, that demon possessed person, that demon possessed people, that mentally ill population are exhibiting outwardly their psychopathic predisposition, which they sought to keep concealed, and it's not concealed. So the more that I document, the moment that I document stalking by the planes, and I remind you, very damning evidence, what's going on west of this location when you're still hovering over 226 North Vine, where this government is uttering a threat after engaging what is all manner of violence, which I documented today, the mentally ill psychopaths that are gang stalking at nightfall in the middle of the morning on behalf of this same government. The entities doing so while they are engaging in what is psychopathic pacing. That is not just one stalker, but the entity will 30 seconds later have another stalker in another plane, and another 17 seconds later have another stalker in another plane, and 15 and a half seconds later have another stalker in another plane. They're doing so while it is all concessions to stalking by that airport. And you need to understand, the entity engages in what is an unlawful threat.
That's a threat. I'm stalking you to psychologically torture you, to haunt and threaten you, and make sure that you are traumatized before I physically take your life. And I'm accomplishing that while I'm keeping you under surveillance in the spectacular and deranged method of using companies that provide what are instrumentalities of interstate commerce to engage in criminal surveillance, which is designed to keep someone under what is the lock and key of an entity that doesn't have any warrant or probable cause. And it doesn't even exist with regard to doing it in concert, as I've proven, with a population who are sharing in the demonic pattern of conduct. That's why they live under the fake sun. That's why they threaten under the fake sun. That's why they work under the fake sun. That's why they're traveling under the fake sun. That's why they're stalking as an airport using commercial planes under the fake sun, flying through the fake sun, and they engage in more of that mentally ill behavior as I document. And I want to make sure that that's clear, because that's exactly what I'm capturing as I cross the street from what is C Street and Euclid to the OVITT Family Community Library, and you're paying attention to what is no sun over the OVITT Family Community Library. But remember, when I enter in at 10:01 and I go to the back facing University of Laverne College of Law, license 84826G2 is stalking by definition, not only because sunlight isn't going to reach upward moving across the front of your car when that's the sun that's over you, but it's also not the sun, and it couldn't be when I'm already inside of the library on another day, and in the natural environment it's going to be a substantially similar, identical placement of a sun that's not, again, individualized with regard to where everyone is going all the time, which is what I'm documenting, while it remains here till the end of the day, but not when I don't come here at all, because it wasn't even here until I arrive, and it's still not over the OVITT Family Community Library. So what is Gregory opening the front door of the library under when the entity is stalking me, when Kelly Blacken is doing so gang stalking me, and the Ontario police are maintaining helicopter activity? That's psychological torture. She's going to prison. Okay, she paces around, she walks around with a sweaty face while she's, again, engaging in maniacal conduct. She's a psychopath who knows that she's being documented, but she's mentally ill, and those demons are working her double time. She's going to be committed while I'm prosecuting her at the Stater Brothers Ontario Village Shopping Center. All right, this is an entity. Kelly Blacken is the entity that is gang stalking, and that's what's stalking me in commercial planes. That's what's in ownership over companies such as Southwest Airlines. That is what is keeping me under surveillance and driving an Ontario police vehicle such as Jay Montez. This is the entity that's engaging in that conduct while they're sharing in what is surveillance of even my evidence. And you, with a straight face, communicate a threat to commit physical violence. Why? Because I'm proving to you to be a stalker? And you have to be a stalker. How do you even know? Because I can't see you. So why are you even focused on me when I'm standing on the sidewalk outside of where you live? What's on the sidewalk that has anything to do with you? Is it because I'm speaking to your roommate, your co-defendant, that is engaging in what is also inexplicable hostility, calling me out of my name because I'm taking pictures of this on the sidewalk outside? Because the demons know that they're exposed under the fake sun, and Satan hates to be exposed. He's a spirit operating over people who are mentally ill. In fact, the medical profession is not telling you the truth. They're abusing it, and they're demons who are abusing it. Okay, mental illness starts in the mind with regard to what is a spirit. Just like you can't see your thoughts, just like you can't see what your feelings, that's relevant to a spirit. It's invisible. And it's the same thing with thoughts that fill your mind about wanting to hurt yourself or hurt other people or stalk someone ongoing, incessantly. Stalk them in planes and helicopters. Stalk them for no reason. Monitor them and stalk them in the bathroom. Be around them while they're getting undressed. Do it even more while they tell on you for stalking them. That's relevant to what is a spirit, exposing what is mental illness. And it's a sick spirit. It's a demonic spirit. This is the entity that's engaging in criminal activity. This is the entity that's engaging in what is public corruption in plain sight. This is the entity that's doing so while it is threatening the life of an American citizen. Every ignoramus, every low-life welfare collecting thug out here, okay, that will not bust a grape, because if you were really a gangster, you wouldn't be gang stalking. It's the lamest, most pathetic exhibit of what are cowards, punks, losers, flunkies in life. You hate yourself, and so you monitor me, because everything about me and my personality, even the way I speak, you're jealous. You're sick to your stomach because you can't be me. That's why you seek out my bodily fluids, rummaging through trash cans looking for my used tampons. That's how crazy you are. You and your baby daddy, you and your husband. You're obsessed with me and my vagina, and you're angry, and you stalk me in planes and helicopters as an entity. Understand, they share the demon possession. That's why Ontario police stalking is the same as these gang stalking demons collecting welfare at 226 North Vine Avenue. It's one entity. Under the law, you're prosecuting that as the criminal conspiracy, and it's already established with regard to the tangible evidence. But these are demons that are identical. The entities engaged in that, and the Ontario International Airport is engaging what is ongoing frequency, greater frequency of what is clearly stalking. And that's going to be in court, literally. Experts. This is very easy to. What does a takeoff from the airport and a landing include? And it will never include any of what it is that I've documented of the Ontario International Airport via every airline: Frontier Airlines, FedEx Air, Amazon Prime Air, Delta Airlines, United, Southwest Airlines. The entity engaging in this pattern of conduct with every airline. The only one that I have not seen, meaning they haven't been hovering so low that I can see the logo, is Starlux. But I don't have to get that. Just like I don't have to get all 2 billion people that are gang stalking in California. I don't have to get that either. The pattern of conduct is speaking to what everyone is doing everywhere, as that pattern is soundly established with regard to what logic dictates. It is unreasonable to suggest that you have this pattern, this long documented pattern, and all of a sudden there's going to be some deviation, some anomaly. No, I don't think so. And it's also not happening with regard to what is a supernatural pattern of conduct. They like to stalk with light flying in the air, which is not sunlight, with multiple shadows that appear in the dark, which is not the product of light reflecting off of anything or light that is manifesting out of nowhere. They do it under what is a fake sun and a fake moon that I'm documenting is remaining over me, including even at the same location. That is speaking to what is exclusivity regarding what is very specific to what the entity, those that are in that environment are doing. And it's not a secret. And it's also not intelligent. This is a prosecution of Gavin Newsom in the office that he sits in, because he's not staying there. You permitted what is an American citizen, and you cannot claim ignorance with regard to this statewide pattern of conduct. And so you sat up and waited until my life was taken? You wanted to sit up and wait to see if I commit some crime and thereby you can get away with it? So you can just have me locked up. Whatever it is that you thought in your mind is neither here nor there. The fact that I remain subject to it, and the government that's engaging in surveillance is the government that's engaging in what is permitting all of it to happen, meaning you are engaging in it. They're engaging in the pattern of conduct. You're not investigating anything. I already investigated it. They know exactly what it is that they're guilty of. They are hostile while I expose the government on the internet, while they're still actively obstructing justice, including by gang stalking me. The fact that Craig Hazelwood and Owens committed kidnapping on February 4th is federal prison for federal officials. I just want to be clear. They're going to federal prison while you kidnap me for 15 hours because you don't want me to put 2022 documentation on the internet. It's going on the internet, and you're also going to prison, because that's not just a 1 day of confinement. That's relative to multiple harms, first of all. Second of all, it's relevant to a pattern of kidnapping, and you're creating what is an ongoing psychologically harmful reality. I don't know when I'm going to be kidnapped. I don't know what the entity is going to. I'm going to prosecute you for that. That's what American citizens are subject to. You're going to be prosecuted for that. You're not staying in office. This is terrorism in the so-called civilized United States. You're not so civilized. You are not remaining in office while this is happening in the state of California. It's not happening. You're not staying. And now that it's exposed, you're watching what is a return to sender for you demons in official positions, because the gang stalking cities and counties are exposing you as being corrupt. You don't have to assume or admit actual responsibility. You shall be held responsible while it's happening in the state where you maintain every other type of ownership and accountability for what's going well. Well, ongoing terrorism, that's also on your watch, and you're not staying in office. All funding, criminal expenditures, you can put it at the macro level regarding what Paul Leon is providing for the Ontario Police Department in that budget to maintain an ongoing means whereby they have plenty of funds to waste gas on stalking me and keeping my vagina under surveillance wherever it is that I go throughout the city of Ontario. That is built into a budget of surveillance in the state of California. You're not staying in office while that's underway. And the reality is that Satan, that is holding a position as a governor, that's holding a position in the office of the governor, doesn't have to admit to anything. Because what is shown through the supernatural pattern of conduct is that you do actually know. And that is known even through your silence. The fact that I'm subject to it, the fact that I have a documentation, a body of evidence of years being subject to it, including kidnapping. This is what you intended to go on, and you never be exposed for it. It's not going to happen. And also the part that you are on the wrong side of history, that's also noted. As far as you have gone, and you are going far, while any city in the state of California is targeting an American citizen. You are unfit to run for any other office. You're unfit to remain in office that you are currently illegitimately holding while terrorism is underway in any corner of the state. This is axiomatic. This is natural. You are not the American that you want to claim to be. You are not the patriot. You are not the pro-American advocate for American citizens. You're a predator. And you murder those that contend with what it is that you want to represent. That's why an airport is associated with what is terrorism in the United States. And it's a multi-million-dollar business that the states are profiting from. And it's murder, it's ongoing torture, and it's an ongoing corrupt business that the United States engages in with those outside of this country. By the way, this country has sacrificed itself. And you're going to experience what that feels like as well, the repercussions of that. And it's essentially going to be what is a massacre. Based on what is judgment, based on what it is that you have done. And you've done it to someone that is here exposing it. And not only that, you didn't stop it. You're still engaging. And I'm still documenting this on February 14, 2026. How many February 14th have I documented since 2000 and let's say 19, because I started documenting in August in images in August of 2018 in the state of California. Okay, this is all establishing what is obvious. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison. She tried to have her daughter murdered via the state system of gang stalking. And she did so as a demon. And they are utilizing what is the perverted sex acts of, this is a Jezebel spirit. So this is the combination of what is corruption of a government that is filled with what they practice, satanic practices. It's essentially the cult that is the United States government. They're filled with demons. And as many people that would like to claim, oh, it's not everyone, I'm an exception, that's not true. It's not. I'm showing you what is unmistakable regarding an entire population, even down to their demon-possessed children. This is a spirit that covers the land. And guess what? Now you have a reason to take a moment's pause, because the people of the state are nothing other than those that run for office, and then they assume position while they are the same demon-possessed population who are then using positions to engage in this very system. Okay, so this is, again, there is not an exception. This is speaking to what is absolute, complete corruption throughout the state of California. And it's not just at the state level. It's local, state, and federal. What do you think that Jason Isaac Fields represents? The gang stalking military represents. The gang stalking United States Postal Service represents. The local Army recruiting office and the Navy office that I'm documenting. What does that represent? The veterans that are engaged in that pattern of conduct, they were formerly a part of what is the U.S. military that's engaging in this pattern of conduct. And they still are while they're retired veterans. They're delusional with regard to the Nephilim, who literally rely on looking to the left and the right like nothing's happening. They're mentally ill. And now they're fully exposed. Now you really can see that mental illness. Everything that they're stating is betraying them. It's betraying them, and they're showing themselves to be psychotic. They're showing themselves to be perverted. They're showing themselves to be delusional. They're showing themselves to be absolutely outright desperate with regard to criminal conduct, with regard to seeking to get away with it. And there is no getting away with it. You're not getting away with it this time. And what are they doing? That's where you are able to see the psychotic pattern of conduct shared by an entity that is mentally ill. Okay? This is the P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaged in every single license plate, every household, the U.S. government. I am speaking on Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom is a gang stalker. He is corrupt. He is blessing what the city of Ontario, Southern California, San Bernardino County is engaging in. He's very much aware of it. Very much aware of everything that I expose. Now, you have millions of people, even outside of California, that are monitoring me. But how many subscribers do I have on my YouTube channel? Okay? That is also serving what is a strategy to suppress. You don't want it to get too popular. But you are definitely keeping tabs with the demons that are subscribed to my channel, because they're not helping. They're not reporting to the feds. The feds and the state that is gang stalking me are the ones that are subscribed to my channel. They're the ones that are sitting around masturbating and having sex rituals and praying to demons that are not going to touch me. They're going to turn around and they're coming for you. That's why you're going to prison. That's why you will be bankrupt. That's why you are going to prison and you're not getting out. The years that I've been subject to the pattern of conduct, your term in federal prison is going to be multiplied. That's the return to sender. While the entity is stalking as a police department, as an airport, stalking on the roads and the highways, engaging in more of it as I document it, you need to understand that it is going to specifically approach what is your doorstep. You will be serving the penalties for it. The heavens know, the Lord God himself knows those of you who targeted me, having me and my name and my future, my money, my gifts on your mind. While I'm documenting you, understand, in that same manner, you're being targeted with justice. I don't have to know your specific name, but understand, I know who you are in the spirit. Now, this is spiritual warfare, and you don't have any authority, and I'm letting you know right now, this is confirmation. This is the declaration of your public demise. You're going to prison, and you're not getting out. There will be federal legislation established in this country to make sure people like you go to federal prison and do not get out. You will be treated like every other foreign terrorist who go to federal prison. That's what you have manifested, Satan. Satan that is going under the name of U.S. government officials, state officials, those that are sitting up at the state's capitol watching me on the internet, permitting the Ontario police to use their helicopters in that department for another day to keep me under surveillance. Do not think that it's being missed. You will be held accountable. You're delusional, so you can't accept that. You don't see it in your mind, but you don't have to see it. You are witnessing the evidence of it because I'm speaking directly to you, and I know that you're listening. You're going to prison. And you will lose every single dime. You're not holding on to one penny that you have stolen, and it is stolen money while you've been gang stalking me. It does not belong to you. You are not keeping it, and you're not keeping your freedom. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:43 a.m. This is the entity that's gang stalking, doing so more so with commercial planes that are stalking as I cross the street on video. That video is also prosecuting. All of it's prosecuting Jay Montez. But Jay Montez of Ontario Police is going to federal prison while I'm what is north, 1 block north at C Street. Remember, he's on B Street at what is 9:39 a.m. on video. Okay, so at 11, that fake sun is still over me at that same location. Because being at B Street, being on C Street, that's the same location he's stalking. Okay, he's going to prison. Gang stalking police officers are terrorists. They commit murder by turning on their sirens and running someone over and claiming, oh, I was heading to an emergency. And now that department is going to conduct an investigation. That investigation results in absolutely nothing. That's how they get away with murder. It's sacrifice. They're demons. The U.S. government's engaged in what is cult behavior. They're demons. They serve Satan. And in that, what you will learn, what you are experiencing is the fact that Satan doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have any loyal followers that are on his level. He's taking as many people to hell with him as possible. And on your way there, I'm taking all my money. And my money is what you've been holding on to with interest, and you're going to prison. P.O.C. I mean that. I'm not on the internet like these little copycats who are demons, who want to be me, who wish that they were actually speaking with the authority of Christ Jesus. You don't even know him. You're a demon. All right. And you're engaged in what is monitoring me while you're copying off of me, copying off of that which you have no idea what is actually the substance, what the purpose of it is. Thinking that you're going to make money. You're not going to make money. You're going to catch a federal case. That is no ordinary infringement. While my life is under threat, you're an ignoramus that's going to learn in a courtroom. This is an entity that's engaging in the P.O.C. and I want to be clear. This is not popping off and just a clapback. I'm not talking smack. These are facts. Mike LORENZ is going to be federally prosecuted. It's going to end up in prison. I will prosecute you, you who are under the sound of my voice, in the same way that you are still gang stalking me as the U.S. government in Ontario, California. These psychopaths keeping my vagina under surveillance inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, damaging my property through crackheads that are attacking me with sharp objects in the middle of the night under a fake moon. You demons are going to prison. It's going to be a blazing trail right to your door. I don't care what office, what position you think you're in. You are not impervious. And it is necessary in this country that everyone witness your prosecution, because it's going to establish precedent. You will be going to federal prison. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you sit in the office of the governor. You're all demons. By the way, you're all demons. There's no hierarchy amongst the wicked. You're vagina monitors. You're feces consumers. You've created your own hierarchy. You're all damned. You're hellbound stalkers. You're psychopaths. You're the one that comes up with these labels. That's the reality. And that's why you're all monitoring me. And while you have proven what I've already unilaterally established, that you're engaging in criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder, you have further demonstrated it affirmatively by your disdain to interfere with the criminal conduct that I put all over the internet. Permitting Craig Hazelwood and Owens to commit kidnapping. I want you to know you're going to prison for that. Just because you can't fathom how you could be criminally held and liable while a police department in some random city is engaging in criminal conduct, that's not for you to understand, but you are going to prison. It's terrorism and it's criminal conspiracy. And you are fully engaged in that conspiracy. And it will find you out. P.O.C. It is currently 11:47 a.m.